King Nebuchadnezzar made an image of gold, 60 cubits high and 6 cubits wide, and set it upon the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. He then summoned the governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, and all the other provincial officials to come to the dedication of the image he had set up. So the governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, and all the other provincial officials assembled for the dedication of the image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up, and they stood before it. Then the herald loudly proclaimed,
"Nations and peoples of every language, this is what you are commanded to do. As soon as you hear the sound of the horn, flute, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music, you must fall down and worship the image of gold that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. Whoever does not fall down and worship this worship will immediately be thrown into a blazing furnace."
Therefore, as soon as they heard the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, and all kinds of music, all the nations and peoples of every language fell down and worshipped the image of gold that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. At this time, some astrologers came forward and denounced the Jews.
May the king live forever. Your Majesty has issued a decree that everyone who hears the sound of horn, flute, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music must fall down and worship the image of gold. Then whoever does not fall and worship will be thrown into a blazing furnace. But there are some Jews who have set over the affairs of providence of Balaam, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who pay no attention to you, Majesty. They neither serve your gods nor worship the image of God of gold you have set up.
Furious with rage, Nebuchadnezzar summoned Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Soon these men were brought before the king, and Nebuchadnezzar said to them,
"Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my gods or worship the image of gold I have set up? Now when you hear the sound of the horn, flute, harp, pipe, and all other kinds of music, you are ready to fall down and worship the image I made? Then very good. But if you do not worship it, you will be immediately thrown into the blazing furnace. Then what God will be able to save you from my hand?"
King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter.
If we are thrown into the burning furnace, our the God whom we serve is able to deliver us from it, and he will deliver us from your Majesty's hand. Even if he does not, we want you to know, your Majesty, that we will not serve your gods, nor worship the image that you have set up.
Then Nebuchadnezzar was furious with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and his attitude toward them changed.
Heat the furnace 7 times hotter than usual. Command some of the strongest soldiers, in my army, to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them into the furnace.
So these men, wearing their ropes, pants, and other clothes, were bound and thrown into the blazing furnace. Go walk down the stairs. Let's walk over here and watch what happens. The king's command was so urgent and the furnace so hot that the flames of the fire killed the soldiers who took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, come on guys, come on over and look, firmly tied, fell into the blazing furnace. Then King Nebuchadnezzar leaped to his feet in amazement and asked his advisors,
Weren't there 3 men that were tied up and threw into the fire?
Certainly, your Majesty.
But look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed, and the 4th looks like a son of God.
Nebuchadnezzar then approached the opening of the blazing furnace and shouted,
Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out, come here.
So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out of the fire, and the satraps, prefects, governors, and royal advisors crowded around them. They saw that the fire had not harmed their bodies, nor was a hair of their head singed. Their robes were not scorched, and there was no smell of fire on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar said,
Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and rescued his servants. They trusted in him and defied a king's command, and were willing to give up their lives rather than serve or worship any god except their own. Therefore I decree that the people of any nation or language who say anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be executed, and their houses be turned into piles of rubble. For no other God can save in this way.
Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. God proved to King Nebuchadnezzar that he was more powerful than King Nebuchadnezzar's made-up God, which is really no God at all. We also must obey God instead of people, even when it puts us in danger. We pray in the Lord's Prayer with Jesus and Christians throughout the ages. Deliver us from evil. Let's give these people a round of applause.